Merci, Monsieur le Président. Ma question est pour le ministre de la Formation et des Collèges et l'Université, l'Honorable Brad Dougad. Speaker, during challenging economic times, various employment services and training programs offered by government are especially important and valued. This is particularly true of the Employment Ontario network. I've heard from some of our local community service providers that they are concerned about losing funding for some of the critical programs they provide to Etobicoke residents. Service providers like Community Microskills Development Centre on Vulcan Street, Humber College Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning, and the YMCA of Greater Toronto and Albion Road will all be victimized by funding cuts the federal government is planning to make. Speaker, can the minister please provide some reassurance to myself as well as members of my community about these critical training organizations that they will not be hurt by the imposed cuts by the Fed?
Thank you. Minister of Training, College, Universities.
Good question. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I wish I could give the member that reassurance, but unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I can't. The current federal proposal is to fund their untested, untried Canada Jobs program by cutting 60% of funding to the Labour Market Agreement, which funds those programs that serve our most vulnerable Ontarians. They're also demanding that the provinces match that funding, which represents a combined hit to Ontario's training programs of $232 million. The community groups ought to be concerned about this federal proposal, as should all Canadians. The federal government is asking us to fund their new program at the expense of programs for literacy and basic skills, Aboriginal workers, people with disabilities, youth, newcomers, and older workers. The member can reassure his constituents that this government will not support any program that's funded on the backs of marginalized workers. We will stand up for them and ensure that our training programs are available to all Ontarians.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. Though I appreciate the ministerial update, I am disappointed to hear that the federal government intends to cut program funding for our most vulnerable workers, regardless of the impact to small business owners. Speaker, perhaps this is another example of a hard right turn that Canada can do without. But I'm pleased that our government is standing up for those Ontarians who need training. As parliamentarians, Speaker, we have an obligation, duty and responsibility to make sure that no one gets left behind. I've also heard concerns from small and medium-sized businesses within my own riding. The fact is, these organizations are creating the bulk of new jobs in our economy. We want to make sure that any programs proposed to help businesses with worker training are not ignored by the proposed Fed cuts. Speaker, can the minister advise this House what is being done to ensure small and medium-sized businesses that they will not be neglected by the Canada Job Grant proposals?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The member raises a very important point. The federal government's Canada Job Grant proposal has not been well thought out. The original proposal ignored the needs of small businesses. It failed to recognize that most small businesses would not be able to afford to participate in a program that required them to invest $5,000 up front in training a new worker. Ontario and the other provinces and territories, as well as our Ontario Chamber of Commerce, have been very vocal on this. While the federal government has indicated that they would provide some greater flexibility in the program to address our concerns, we're of the view that they need to go further and to make this program effective. We need to do everything we can to help small businesses succeed. That includes getting Bill 105 approved and passed by January 1st, so that 60,000 small businesses in Ontario can get the tax break that they deserve. I urge the opposition parties to cooperate, stop stalling this important bill, and join us in supporting Ontario's small businesses.